Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now. I'm back. Roger Ants for Black and White Network. We're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard. We're going to talk about the raid on Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago the other day. A moment that, I described as akin to the feeling I had when I was watching 9/11 go down, like just a moment of a feeling of disbelief for hours. And of course there wasn't that kind of loss of life or anything, and I understand that, but just far as a very dark moment in the history of our country, something that I knew as it was happening, this isn't right, this should not be happening, and I think we all feel like it's a sham. It's got to do with January 6th. That's my gut feeling anyway. And it's unfathomable to me that the Democrats believed that pulling this move was going to sway people in their direction, because it's done exactly the opposite. It's unified the Republican voters, not the politicians, the voters, unlike anything I could possibly think of. I think some Democrat voters probably went, oh, hold on. So some of that stuff that Republicans have been talking about, this doesn't seem right. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, she's been very vocal against the Biden administration. I want to point something out here about Tulsi, besides the fact that she's a dino, Democrat in name only. She's in one of these states that if you don't have a D next to your name, you're politically dead. Okay, there's no such thing as a Republican politician in Hawaii, I don't think. I'm sure there is, but you get the point, right? I believe if she ever, and me and John's talked about this, if she ever hopes to hold another office, she'll move somewhere else and run as either an independent or as a Republican. And she's certainly more Republican, as far as I'm concerned, than somebody like Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney. She blasted Biden and Kamala over Brittany Griner the other day, and the hypocrisy involving cannabis. And of course, Kamala has a horrible track record when it comes to locking up people involving cannabis, but here the United States is jumping through hoops trying to get Brittany Griner out. So Tulsi come out and she slammed this raid on Trump's house, and man, I got to tell you, this reminds me of a conversation I had with, I owned a service business for a long time. Many of you guys are new subscribers. You don't know that. The old ones do. The ones on the sports channel do. I owned a service business for years. One of my clients was a Democrat, him and his wife, and they were from out of state. Most of my clients were from out of state. And we had a talk about the Democratic Party, and this has been 2 years ago probably. And I said, you do understand that the Democratic Party is becoming more and more of a socialist party, right? And he stopped and he looked at me and he goes, it's troubling. I'm beginning to believe that you are right about that. And they had voted Democrat their entire lives. My feeling is that not his wife, she's more left, but my feeling is he will eventually vote Republican. He's just got a lot of conservative qualities, and many people here in Texas that thought they were just left of center, I believe are going to be center or to the right. And by the time we get to 2024, okay? Tulsi Gabbard blast FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. Says it changed the country we grew up in. Former Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard criticized the FBI's raid on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, saying it changed the country we grew up in. Now, whatever your views are on Donald Trump, there is no denying that the unprecedented raid on his Palm Beach home earlier this week has set our country on a dangerous new course. and there's no turning back. The FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago changed the country we grew up in. She said that Friday with Tucker Carlson. Trump was the first person to announce the FBI's raid on his residence Monday. These are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. A federal judge unsealed the search warrant Friday. A list of items taken from Mar-a-Lago shows the FBI recovered 11 sets of classified documents, including some top-secret documents, roughly 20 boxes of items, binders of photos, handwritten notes, executive grant of clemency for Roger Stone, and information about French President Emmanuel Macron. Quote, I grew up believing that, hey, our government will apply the law equally to all Americans, whether you're Republican or Democrat. We're seeing more and more that that country no longer exists. Law enforcement at the highest levels of government, whether it's the DOJ, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and now even the IRS, have been weaponized to target political opponents of the Uniparty, the permanent Washington and Biden regime. Gabbard continued. She said that. Attorney General Merrick Garland responded to the criticism of the FBI. Quote, let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. Attorney Merrick Garland has already issued a stark warning to anyone who dares disagree with these tactics that are all hallmarks of dictatorship, Gabbard said. So you're not allowed to disagree with the FBI. That is the new message. The security state will label you an extremist for daring to challenge or disagree with the regime's weaponization of law enforcement. Yeah. I mean, I was flipping through YouTube the other day, and you know how it shows you the thumbnails. Get the NBC News as I'm going by. Extreme right-wing extremism or something like that. Extremism disagrees with FBI, blah, blah, blah. You know, the mainstream media crap. And I was like, wow. You know, just hearing right-wing extremist, it's just nuts. And I'm seeing people online talk about, oh, so much for supporting the police by the Republicans. Well, look, I think most of us believe the FBI agents themselves down on the ground level probably are not corrupt, okay? They're ants that are following marching orders at this point, okay? But do I believe the FBI is suspect, at least, at the higher up levels? I'm not even sure I'm supposed to say this on YouTube, but probably. I mean, something seems wrong. It seems like a lot of things are getting weaponized. I mean, the IRS posts a job where they're supposed to be armed now. That's a thing. We're arming IRS agents, and it's crazy. It's kind of like J6 in the fact that so many of these people that got arrested for even just being in the building or on the steps or wherever, these are people that don't have criminal histories. I mean, they're law-abiding citizens. Okay? And it just kills me that everybody's talking about this, but they won't turn and look at something like Kavanaugh and what happened to him. That's not left-wing extremism. And that's the exact problem. All right? That's the exact problem. We can see this. We saw J6, and we turn and look and go, but wait a minute. BLM and Antifa for the last 12 months? 18 months? Oh, we can't equate that. Well, we're not blind. We watched it play out on TV. Okay, and one happened every day for 18 months, and the other happened for 2 hours. All right, but yet there's this witch hunt going on after Trump. You've got Liz Cheney, you've got these guys in there in this kangaroo court where there is no back and forth defense. And then you have this happen. And look, I know a lot of people don't trust Tulsi, and I get that. I mean, I think it would be wrong to not be skeptical of all politicians at this point. Okay, pretty much all. All right. Outside of Trump and DeSantis, I don't know that I trust anybody at this point. That's just being real, right? I'm sure there's some of these America First ones that there are things to appreciate, but just the way they've handled Trump in general, when so many of these people were tight with the guy at one point, you know? And so, I appreciate the fact that Tulsi Gabbard comes out and says something like this when so many Republicans are quiet. I mean, it's ridiculous. Even somebody like Tim Scott, who I like a lot. I almost bought Tim Scott's book just the other day. I logged on to look and thought, okay, when I get paid, I'm buying Tim Scott's book. He said, well, let's see how this plays out. Now, then a couple of days later, he came out and strongly condemned the FBI having done this. Well, wait a minute now. You just said 2 days ago, let's see what happens and let it play out. Well, that's not the statement I would have expected from you, right? And that goes to show you, many of these Republicans, they're scared of the FBI right now. All these celebrities celebrating this, when it happens to you, how you going to feel about it? I'm just saying, it's the issue that people have is in countries like Cuba and Venezuela, they weaponize law enforcement based on political parties. What the hell just happened the other day? All right, think about it. Tell me what you think, Black and White Network supporters. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.